Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today is going to be something a little bit different than I've been doing recently, but this video is actually going to be split into two parts. So the first half of the video is going to be me going through my Premier League fantasy football team for the upcoming 2017/18 season. And I did this video last season and we created the league last season as well, the Ben HD YouTube League. So we're going to be doing it again this season, and hopefully now we can get even more people joining. And then the second part of the video is going to be me going through my updated team for my championship fantasy football side. And as well as that, we're also going to be looking at the league table after the first round of fixtures has got out of the way in the championship. And we're going to be looking at who's currently leading the league and how I did as well. So guys, make sure you do stay tuned on the channel this week, as I've got quite a few videos coming out this week actually. Tomorrow I should have another championship transfer rumour video coming out, and we've got some massive rumours going around the championship, so you're definitely not going to want to miss that. And then on Thursday as well, that should be when my week 2 championship score predictions does come out. So they're the videos to look forward to this week, guys. But in terms of now, let's get into some fantasy football. So like I said at the start of the video, guys, last season I did do this video for Premier League fantasy football, and I'm going to be doing it again today. So you guys can still join my league. Of course, the Premier League kicks off on Friday, so I'll leave a link in the description down below to the website for fantasy football, and then you can easily go ahead and join the league. I'll put the league code on screen now, and I'll also leave it in the description so you can easily go ahead and join the Ben HD YouTube League. If you have played fantasy football before and you're signing up with the same account that you used last year and you were in the league last year as well, then you'll automatically be re-entered into the Ben HD YouTube League. However, if you are new to fantasy football or you're new to my channel in general, you will be able to see the code on screen there to easily go ahead and join the league, and it'll be in the description down below so you guys can easily go ahead and copy and paste it. So without further ado, guys, I will talk you through my Premier League fantasy football team for the upcoming season. Now, before we get into this, am I completely sold on this team? No, it's just something with fantasy football and me, I'm just so indecisive, and probably before the start of the season, I'm probably going to tinker with this team even more. Guys, let me know in the comments down below who is in your guys' Premier League fantasy football team, because I am very interested to know with this one, because there's so many options for different players and different prices to go for. It really is a tough one to pick. So I'll talk you through my team now, starting out at the back. I'm sure all you guys are aware of how fantasy football works. So of course you get given a budget of 100 million, so you do have to use it quite well, really. You have to budget yourself in some areas. So starting out in net, I have decided to go for Fraser Forster, of course. I decided to hold back on going for a really high premium goalkeeper, as Forster saved me a bit of money, and looking over Southampton's fixtures at the start of the season, they've actually got some very favourable ones. Then as you can see, I've decided to go for a 3-4-3 formation, so I'll talk you through my defenders first of all. First of all, we've got Kolasinac from Arsenal, and I won't lie about this, I did put him into my team after his performance in the Community Shield the other day. He managed to score a goal coming off the bench, and I feel like in terms of defenders, fullbacks are a lot more useful in fantasy football for getting more points than centre-backs are, as they tend to get more goals, more assists and stuff like that. And with Wenger seeming to like playing 3 at the back at the moment, if this guy is selected to play their left wing back, which I think he will be, he'll get tons of points, I'm sure about that. I think in the Bundesliga when he played there, he got an obscene amount of assists and goals, so if he can replicate that for Arsenal, he should be a decent buy for 6 million in fantasy football. Next to him, I've got Ryan Bertrand, another fullback, obviously playing for Southampton as well. I've already shown you their start to this season. It is very favourable, so for that reason, I think Bertrand will be decent for 5.5 million. And then my final defender to talk over is going to be Antonio Valencia, and Valencia costing 6 million, so not the cheapest of defenders, but I feel like once again he'll be quite similar to Kolasinac, where he'll get a lot of goals and assists, hopefully, of course. With Man United having Lukaku playing up front, Valencia is a very attacking fullback. If he's going to get crosses into the box, hopefully that'll mean a lot of assists for him. And as well as that, United seem to be pretty tight at the back, so hopefully they'll get quite a few clean sheets. And then into the midfield we do go, and the midfield, I will admit, I did spend quite a bit of money on the midfield, and certainly on the first player here, we have Kevin De Bruyne. I just think Kevin De Bruyne this season, I think, is going to be a must for my fantasy football side. There is a risk with Man City players this year with how Pep Guardiola is and how much he likes to rotate teams around, but I feel like De Bruyne will be the stable part of that Man City team. I can't see him being interchanged for too many games, especially at the start of the season when City want to be playing their strongest team possible. De Bruyne will be at the centre of all that. I think last season he managed to go ahead and pick up 21 assists, which is absolutely mad, so he'll get tons of points in fantasy football for that. I think he'll pop up with quite a few goals as well. My next midfield pick is one that I'm not overly convinced by, but I'm going to keep him in the team for the time being. That is going to be Willian. Now, of course, with Eden Hazard currently being injured, for Chelsea, I think Willian could be a decent budget option. He only costs 7 million, so he's not the most expensive of midfielders, and seeing as Chelsea have a relatively decent start to the season, I thought I'd throw him in there as a Chelsea player to get in who's not that expensive. Fabregas is also the same price, so I'm currently juggling between the two, but at the moment I've got Willian in there. Then my next midfield option is going to be Wilfried Zaha. Now, once again, Wilfried Zaha, I think this guy could be an absolute gem for fantasy football this year. Only costing 7 million, so he's not the most expensive, and considering last season he actually went ahead and got 7 goals and 11 assists, I think he'll be a good option for fantasy football this year. Hopefully, with players like Christian Benteke playing up front for Palace this year as well, he'll get quite a few assists, quite a few more assists this season maybe, so I'm banking on Zaha to be decent. And then my final midfield option is going to be James Ward-Prowse of Southampton. So that completes the hat-trick of Southampton players I've got in the team, and once again, the reason I've got him in there is because Southampton just have a very favourable start to the season, and in pre-season I'm led to believe that Ward-Prowse has been taking set pieces, so for that reason I think he could get quite a few assists this season. He's also been playing as a number 10 as well in some of the pre-season games, so for only 5.5 million he could be an absolute gem. And then coming into the strike force, this is where I've definitely spent the most money on the team. So first of all, coming into the team is going to be Roberto Firmino, and the reason I put Firmino in there is because Liverpool always seem to get off to a flying start to the season. Of course, with Klopp playing a very high pressure sort of game, it does seem to suit them at the start of the season, and then towards the end of it they seem to sort of run out of a little bit of steam. But I had to include a Liverpool player in there. I did want to get Mohamed Salah in this team as well, as I think he will be decent for Liverpool this year, but I just couldn't afford to drop Kevin De Bruyne for him. So Firmino is going to be my Liverpool option. I believe as well he's also been taking penalties in pre-season for Liverpool, so that could be a decent one for Firmino. Then coming in next to him is going to be a little bit of a risky player, I'm not going to lie about that. That is going to be Gabriel Jesus. And now in terms of forwards for fantasy football, I've been changing this team around so many times. At one point I had Aguero in here, I had Kane in it at one point, I had Lacazette in it at one point. I've been switching it around so much, but I'm going to put in Gabriel Jesus for the time being. In pre-season, Man City have been playing with Jesus and Aguero up front. That partnership up top can be absolutely formidable. And then my last player in the starting 11 is going to be Romelu Lukaku, coming in at 10.5 million. Once again, not the cheapest of options in terms of a striker, but I mean, come on, you've just got to include Lukaku in your team, haven't you? Playing under Jose Mourinho at Manchester United, I think he will be deadly this season, and I have decided to make him captain for the time being as well. Sometimes, you know, in the big games he does tend to bottle it a little bit, you know, that's the thing that's thrown about with Lukaku, but last season at Everton he managed to score 25 goals, and if he gets, he'll get more service at Man United, so surely he'll be able to emulate that, if not better, this season, and surely he'll be able to get loads of fantasy football points. So you may be wondering why I've not decided to include any Spurs players into this team, and I'm not going to lie, at times I have had them in. I've had Dele Alli in at one point, Eriksen as well, Harry Kane. The reason I've not put Spurs players in here is because traditionally Harry Kane always does have a little bit of a slow start to the season. August, he always takes like a month to get going or so, so whether that'll be the same case this season, I'm not so sure. I also want to see how they're going to fare with playing at Wembley this season. If they do settle into Wembley quite quickly, then later down the line I'm definitely going to bring some more Spurs players into the team, but at this point in time, this is the team I'm going to go for. So what are your opinions on my team? Let me know down below. And then in terms of my bench, I'm not going to lie, I completely cheaped out on this defence. So on this bench, sorry. So we've got Rob Elliott, from the Newcastle keeper. We've also got Ben Mee. Ben Mee I don't actually think is that bad of an option. For Burnley home games, I'm probably going to put him in the starting 11, but another cheap option there. Then we've got Angel Rangel from Swansea and Tom Carroll as well. So all very cheap options for the bench, but at some points I suppose they could come into the team. So So like I said at the start of the video, guys, let me know in the comments down below who is in your fantasy football team and what do you think of mine. Would you make any adjustments to this team? Let me know down below, because I probably am going to make some adjustments from now until it actually kicks off. And also as well, make sure you do join the Ben HD YouTube League. So now guys, we will move on to some Championship Fantasy Football. So if you guys have not already joined the Championship Fantasy Football League, I'll leave a link to that in the description down below as well. We've played 1 week now in the Championship, and this is how the league table is currently looking for fantasy football. So of course, shout out to Sam Golding, who is currently sitting top of the league. In his first week, he managed to go ahead and accumulate 52 points. So honestly, if you are in the top 10 of this, fair play to you, because in this league there are over 200 people who are already signed up in this league. So if your name's in that top 10, fair play to you. This is Sam's team, who of course is currently top of the Fantasy Football League, and his big hitters, his forward line, all managed to get a goal, so that's a really good one for him. Bobby Reid is the guy who did most damage for Sam on day one. He managed to get 15 points for him, which is just absolutely massive. But looking at our two teams, actually, we don't actually have two dissimilar teams. So you may be wondering where I am in the Ben HD YouTube League in the Championship, and well, I didn't have the best first game week. I'm currently sat in 95th place, but considering that there are over 400 teams in this Championship Fantasy Football League, that's not too bad going in my opinion. So we'll go ahead and look at my team, and as you can see, we didn't have the best first week. I managed to pick up 31 points, which is pretty average. It's not the worst, but it's not the best, definitely. But I'm still in contention of, you know, finishing with a good finish this season. But my big hitters for this one, Kenneth Zohore managing to pick up a goal for me. I was very proud that he managed to do that for me. Greg Cunningham at the back as well, of course, with Preston managing to keep a clean sheet. He got 7 points for me, so it's not that bad. It's not brilliant either. So like I said, guys, in this Championship Fantasy Football League, there are currently over 400 people who are currently competing in the league, and you guys can still go ahead and join the league. Like I said, I'll leave a link to it in the description down below, and I will leave a league code for that as well. But apart from that, guys, that will now wrap it up for this video. So if you have enjoyed, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. Let me know in the comments down below how you guys got on in Championship Fantasy Football and what you think of both of my teams. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching. So make sure you do check out all the other links in the description down below. Make sure you drop me a follow on Twitter as well, as I always tweet before I upload a video. Therefore you'll never miss a video ever again, guys. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.